Welcome back to another episode of Lions Basement Banter. As you can see, we're changing again. We have our new logo going on. Thank you guys for voting on that. We literally just found out who was going to win that or which one was going to win that a couple hours ago. So, frantically throwing it around on our X page and our YouTube and all that other stuff so that we get it all changed in time for this episode. You're going to see some new stuff on the ticker down below. We're going to have some stuff going there, and we'll kind of touch on some of that too. But let's get started here. So we will start with actually let's go right into the main event today. We're going to start right with the main event. There's not a whole lot going on in Lions land, you guys, just so you know. So we're just going to start right off. PFF's top 25 under 25. We ended up with more than anybody else, more than any other team. You want to go ahead and read those off?
Yeah. You had Panay Sewell at number 1, Aiden Hutchinson number 6, Amon-Ra St. Brown at 11, Sam Laporta at 19, and Jameer Gibbs at 21. And that's it. That's the ones that they gave us.
Yep. So, any surprises there? I got a couple. So,
I think I'm surprised to see Amon-Ra so low, I would say. I would imagine I would have saw him in the top 10 and maybe Hutchinson fall a little bit out of there just because of there's other pass rushers in that same age group that have been more productive, like Micah Parsons, I think.
Yeah. So I think my biggest surprise was honestly Hutchinson being at 6. I'm not saying like he doesn't deserve to be on this list, but yeah, like you said, Amon-Ra there. I could almost see Hutch going to where Sam Laporta is, Sam Laporta going to Amon-Ra, Amon-Ra going to Hutch. That's kind of what I would have kind of seen there. But
Yeah,
uh,
I think Hutchinson, I would say in like somewhere around 15, somewhere between 15 and 10.
mhm.
And then I think Laporta should be in that same range. I don't think Hutchinson should fall out of the top 15.
Okay.
But I do think Laporta's higher, and I understand what they're doing with Gibbs. It's just he doesn't get as much appreciation because he's in a shared backfield
Yep.
situation. So yeah,
And then I had kind of a list of honorable mentions of players that are at or below that 25 mark. That probably could have been close to this, or might be in contention for it this year if they have a good year. I would say Brian Branch got disrespected on this list. I'll be honest. I think actually I've seen it all over the place. There's people saying, he might be DB1 in the entire NFL after this year. I'm not saying I agree with that, but I've seen people with that take. So, uh, Kirby Joseph is another one that has done well. Not necessarily saying he's in the top 25, but and then the same goes with Jack Campbell and Jameson Williams. But big years from them, and they might be there. The one that got super disrespected, in my opinion, was Aleem McNeil. I was kind of surprised to see, you know, I was kind of surprised to see him not on that list. I was surprised to see Aiden Hutchinson all the way up there at 6, and then Aleem McNeil not even make the list. That was kind of surprising to me.
I just think it's a kind of a effect of they don't want to put too many Lions on the list. Is kind of what it is. They want to make sure everyone gets their dues, which I understand. But if they're better, they're better.
Yeah, I was just surprised that Aleem McNeil basically was disrespected on for this. It just, like I said, Aiden Hutchinson at 6, Aleem McNeil out of this list is just surprising to me.
Yeah, I think Brian Branch and Aleem McNeil deserve to be on there for sure. I think Kirby is there as well, maybe just off the list, but I still think he should have made it. To me, it's just a bit of PFF saying trying to give dues to other teams, but
Yeah,
not overload the list with one. But I mean, if
25, 25 Lions on the list of
I don't
25
think
under
it would be
25.
that drastic, but I think Jack Campbell and Jameson Williams make sense to me because Jack Campbell's still developing. He had a all right year last year. He had some flashes, some games where he played well. He had some games where he didn't play well. Some games where he saw very limited snaps.
Yeah.
Um, Makes sense that he wouldn't be in there. He's also in a rotation of some pretty decent linebackers ahead of him. You got Anzalone and Barnes in there. Um, Jameson Williams is just effective, hasn't shown enough yet. He had like 4 games last year where he was really good, and made splash plays, but other than that, throughout his entire career, really, he hasn't really done anything yet. So makes sense that they left him off this list to me.
Yeah, I agree. Like you said, you can't just have all Lions. Obviously, being a hometown person, just wish there was more. But maybe next year we show up. There's these guys have done better. Jameson Williams is. We'll talk about this soon, but he's hopefully on pace to have a really big year. And Ali McNeil must have been if there was a 26 spot, I think he'd have been there. But uh, Brian Branch is also set up to. Brian and Kirby are both set up to succeed this year for sure. So yeah, that's the PFF's top 25 under 25. Moving on, we have
Lions lost one of their own.
yeah, basically, Commanders got their guy, and it's not Ben Johnson, so that's that's a positive. But Brandon Sosna was formerly the senior director of football administration here for the Lions. He was hired by the Commanders to be their vice president of football operations. Uh, he sounds like he was a really good recruiter or someone who knew young talent really well and was really good with also really good with the budgetary stuff based on what I saw. So
Oh, that's what he was known for, really, in that building. Was he oversaw like salary cap, and making sure that things were working there. I heard that someone say from the Lions media area that he was kind of the one that handled contract negotiations.
okay,
So he's just that he's a good money guy is what he is. He's evaluates where they're at, what they can spend, how to make deals efficient and optimize those, which thank goodness he got the deals that he got done before he departed. So that should help us out a little bit. And I mean, I don't really have any you know I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm not scared at all that he's gone. I think it stinks that we lost somebody, but then again, that's a spot that I think we can fill. I don't think it's anything that's going to hurt us that bad.
right, yeah, I totally agree with that. And unless it was we're gonna sign all these people to really high deals because I'm already working with the Commanders and we're gonna.
I
I
don't
know,
think
I know,
that's
I'm
going to
joking.
happen.
It's a complete conspiracy here. The script is written. Yeah, so that's basically all we really have on Sosna. He's one of those guys that obviously was a big part of the organization. We don't see that kind of stuff. You don't hear about him much until he's departing. So,
Oh, good for
yeah,
him. He got
got a payday.
a payday, and he got a promotion. He's now vice president of football operations
Yeah.
over there. So moving on, we've got Lions starting their OTAs. A lot of good stuff coming out of there in terms of media sessions and just seeing some guys get work in over the summer months. We start out with some praise from Dan Campbell on a guy that we just talked about, Jameson Williams. He's been, Dan was basically glowing about Jameson Williams and the improvement he's shown and the work he's been putting in the summer months. Said he's really impressed. He, when Campbell got interviewed, he talked about him, and then they interviewed Williams, and he said he's feeling good, and that he feels like he's matured. He talked about the difference from this season through compared to the last two, where he's actually getting reps with the ones heading into the season. That first year he's coming off injury, didn't get to do that. Second year suspension, didn't get to do that. So this year he's actually getting that full um, experience with reps and being out there with Goff and all the other ones. So
Yeah, and it's one of those things where we're kind of like, I think everybody's kind of like put the number out there. It's 800, 900 yards, blah blah blah. But um, I don't remember what Josh Reynolds got. I think he was like a 500, 600 kind of guy. But the way Jameson Williams looks physically and the sound, he's saying all the right things. The things he's sounding off on. Um, I, he's got the tools. We know that. He's got the ability. I see him possibly growing into that mature number two receiver that we need. So on paper, everything always looks great on paper. Jameson Williams looked great on paper last year, but I think obviously we don't want to lose that game, but I think the mixture of the way Jameson Williams performed in the NFC Championship game, first touchdown, last touchdown of the game, for the Lions. I think that gave him a crazy amount of confidence going into this year. I also think that the loss also put a chip on the rest of the Lions' shoulders. So this just seems like a recipe for complete success. So we'll see how it goes, but I just really like the way this is shaping up. It kind of puffs your chest out.
Yeah. Well,
So
you talked about Josh Reynolds and his production at that number two receiver, which he was. To me, Jameson Williams has a way higher ceiling in terms of what he can do production wise. I think if Reynolds was in that 5 to 600 range on average, I think Williams can post 2 to 300 more than that, maybe more.
yeah, and that's what I've kind of been saying too. Is like I think that 70 catch 900-yard mark is kind of what you should be able to expect from him if he's playing healthy and he's playing smart and everything. I think that's probably a good not necessarily a ceiling, but I think that's a good expectation for him this year. Um, we had that. He had his interviews on OTAs. We had all that stuff. Just want to throw out there, uh, you know, it could be nothing, but we still don't know because the same night he posted something on his Instagram, and I'm not gonna say it exactly the way he said it, but basically he said he was living in hell. He's got to be, and then there was no context. So maybe there's no context. Maybe he just. It sounds like, you know, he posted it while Detroit Tigers were playing, so there's a joke there. I mean, they were playing terrible. Um, Sounds like some of Detroit lost power and there was no say AC and it was like 83 degrees. Who knows? Um, really hoping that that wasn't like, I don't know, something football related, I guess. More than anything, hoping JMO's good because nobody's really heard much from him on socials since then. He's not a real big social guy anyway, as far as social media, so it's not super shocking. But thoughts go out to him regardless, and we just hope it's not a football thing too.
All
So
my bets are on the fact that the McDonald's ice cream machine was down when he.
listen, that he shouldn't have been upset about that. He should be used to that. That
Well,
shouldn't be a
you
shocker.
can't get a burger with a McFlurry on it though if you
That
got
shouldn't be a
the
shocker though. He should
if
be
you got the
bringing his
ice
own
cream
ice cream
machine
by
down.
now.
All right. Well, some good and bad there with Jameson then, but we're gonna move on to on the defensive side of the ball. Same thing with OTAs. We had Carlton Davis
Yep.
talking about how he's in Detroit to lock shit down.
Yep. And basically, when he expanded on that, he basically said he's here to lock down number one receivers. He's not here, to lock down a second guy. He's not here to let somebody else take his spot. He is, in his mind, the number one cornerback. He is CB1 here, and he's going to hold himself to the standard of playing that way. So that's exciting. You see somebody that's got that. Another thing he mentioned during the same interview was that he hasn't been this excited um, going into OTAs since his team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, won the Super Bowl. He said that was the year that he came in. He saw this young talent. Obviously, they had Tom Brady and Gronk and all that stuff, but he saw this young talent. He saw people that were in OTAs and they were talking Super Bowl already. They were all excited. They were fired up. He said, "This is exactly what I felt walking into that room that day." And he said he hasn't felt it since this day. So that's pretty exciting. That's good to hear.
That's good. We need that fire in the secondary a little bit right now. So
Yep.
that's really all we had on him. Just a brief update, and then we'll move on to more comments from Dan Campbell. Talked about gave a presser and basically gave another all timer of a quote.
Yeah.
Um,
He's pretty good at those.
he was asked about whether he sees this year as Super Bowl or bust, and
Yeah.
he said he didn't know what the word bust is. He said, "I only see Super Bowl. I don't see bust."
Yeah. He basically has, other than to say it there, he basically has knocked that one right out of his vocabulary. He will not. And do you expect anything else out of Dan Campbell? Do you expect anything else? he's not going to take it. Bust is not an option. So
All I gotta say is that speak for yourself, because I'm busted. That's all I gotta say.
like like right now.
Yep.
Oh gosh. Okay. All right.
Continuously.
I'm gonna move. How much frame do I have here to move out of the still be in the camera, but move away a little bit? Uh, oh my gosh, you threw me right off. All right, the next one. We didn't really see much as far as interviews, but Broderick Martin, man, in some of the OTA pictures, goodness gracious. Like I said, I think last episode, and I definitely said it on Twitter, I am ready to eat crow on this one because that dude looks like Lee McNeil 2.0.
And even
Not
bigger.
yeah, not saying, obviously when he came in, he struggled with getting low off the line and he was getting, his pads were too high, he was getting blown up off the line. Not saying any of that necessarily changes, but those are things that can be taught. The thing that he has changed is his body, which it's something that you got to do in order to get low, and you got to be able to you got to be able to bend, you got to be able to move, and he's looking the part right now, and that is exciting.
Well,
So
with him, it was always going to be he had the physicals. He just needed to be taught the game because he
yep,
went to Western Kentucky, I think is what it was.
yep,
No offense to Western Kentucky, but they're not exactly a blue chip program where they're teaching you all the things you need to have success in the
right.
NFL. You're just out there dominating guys trying to win football games, and that doesn't always mean with the competition Western Kentucky faces, you don't always have to be as pristine as an Alabama or a Georgia or that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you don't have as many people coming out of there into the NFL. You don't, it's not a knock on the program, but it's definitely it's that size for a reason. I mean, it's a smaller school than in Alabama or a Michigan or you know, um, I don't want to say like Michigan State or Ohio State because they suck. But other than that,
They're
like
still big schools.
I know, I had to throw it in there though. Yeah, but basically what I'm saying is, I agree. Like he came in as a project. We knew he was a project, but it must be they saw stuff, the intangibles, the stuff that you couldn't teach. Get his body right, get his mind right, and then all of a sudden, boom, he's able to be taught this stuff, and I think this off season is going to be big for him. So,
Yeah. So
um,
another guy. Well, I just want to talk about in the OTAs. They posted a video to their social media. The Lions did, and they showed a lot of like just
mm-hmm.
minor clips. And I know it's not much, but I'm happy to see Bats out there getting some work as well on that D line, hoping he can work his way in and hopefully make that 53 man. I wouldn't mind seeing a guy who led a Canadian Football League in sacks make the team. So that's one of my hopefuls. I'm hoping he can find a way to get in there.
I feel like he might be one of those guys that if you put him on the practice squad, he'll get scooped. That it might not happen, but I feel like if we can't find a place for him, we might as well be ready to let him go because I think he'll get scooped.
I just think he's gonna, in my opinion, he's a prime candidate to take the spot of Levi. Levi owns Enrique.
Yep.
I don't think he's gonna be. In my opinion, I don't anticipate Levi making the 53 man this year. I think he's got too much competition around him, and with his background, he's only shown one or two flashes in games where he's playing to the level that we expected him to be.
I mean, I was upset about it. I've always kind of been a Levi fan since they drafted him, but I've come to terms with the fact that it's a good thing if we don't have him or we can't get him somewhere in the rotation. That's a good problem to have. So I've come to terms with that. All right. I want to point out real quick. Next week we do have two guests coming on the show. I don't know if we'll have video or if it'll just be audio. But old Mr. Brad Holmes Bulge is going to be on the show. He's the one who donated the helmet signed by James Houston last week, and that was pretty awesome. So we want to give him his dues, get him on here. And then Courtney Mama Courts is on X, and we want to talk to her about a couple things she's got going and just kind of give her dues as well. So we have a couple things going on. I just want to throw this out there while we're rolling through. We got a giveaway alert, PSA 9 JAMO card. We get 300 YouTube subs, and we're going to get that in. And yes, I said 300. Last week it was 5. I lowered it because I want you guys to sub and I want to give this away. So that's where we're at on that. And I'll interrupt you another time to give you the rest of the stuff that's scrolling through the bottom.
Moving on to our That Was Random section. Unfortunately, we don't have much for our main event. It's kind of a slow news week this week, guys. We're getting into that in between time where we've gone through the draft, we've gone through free agency negotiations, all that good stuff, and now we are moving into the summer workouts, but it's going to be a little bit of a slow movement there until we get into the heat of that. So
Yep.
we'll move on to our That Was Random section and talk about some other Detroit teams that we've got going here. Starting off, we have the Pistons have made a hire to their front office, taking Trajan Langdon as their president of basketball operations. Thoughts on that?
It could be good. I'm just gonna say it could be good. Um, let me pause for a second. If you see on the bottom, we did our this or that predict the stat. We're going back to JMO real quick. This is like the JMO episode. We posed if he'd be over or under 1,000 all-purpose yards. We had 83% of you say he'll be 1,000 or over, and 17 said he'll be less. So just wanted to point that out. Back to Trajan Langdon. He's an Arn Tellem guy, which I'm sick of, to be honest. I'm sick of seeing Detroit Pistons draft, or not draft, but, bring in Arn Tellem guys, all these friends, all these buddies. It could be good. He did good with the Pels. He brought him back from, low 30s to like a high 40s type win. I think he was the one that was involved in the trades with, Anthony Davis. I think he was there when they got Zion. I don't know, man. He could be good, but to me, this again is. I actually think I go back to Spencer Raxter on Woodward. I think he used the word malfeasance. To me, that is exactly what this is. Gores continues to allow his guys to get or pulled in here. Arn Tellem continues to allow his guys to get in here, and it feels like we're making a complete mockery of Detroit Pistons as an organization. It seems like we are just continually taking steps backwards. I don't see this as it could be a good one. I don't see it as a good one right now, though. I feel like this was. I know that guy. Let's bring him in. So I don't know.
Honestly, I'm hoping they're bringing in the Langdon to be a guy who's going to have the clearance to do what he needs to do personnel-wise to make this team work, and that includes firing Troy Weaver and whoever else is underneath him that has made this team what it is in the past few years or however long Troy Weaver's been there. It's been a shit show since he's been there. I don't know what to say other than that. The one positive thing I'll say about bringing Langdon in is maybe it gives us a step up on getting a free agent that I've seen, people talk about getting to Detroit, and that's Brandon Ingram.
Okay. I thought you were going somewhere else, and I'll bring it up. Go ahead.
I've just seen a lot of people talk about bringing in Brandon Ingram, and it would be a good fit. He's played really well over there. And Langdon has to have some kind of relationship with him being the GM over there. I'm sure he's talked to him, and maybe that's somewhere they decide to go is if they can work out a deal and bring in another veteran to play along these young guys and hopefully be productive.
Yeah, I don't know. One person that people have been kind of throwing out there is they'll be mad because we did this whole thing with another Arn Tellem guy and we did all this, and then they're like, well, maybe he's good and he's gonna bring Zion over. Are we worried about selling tickets or are we worried about winning games here? Because that is absolute stupidity.
We don't need Zion.
He's hurt all the time.
He hasn't done anything.
Is he great when he plays?
Career.
Yeah. Give me 3 great games out of him every single year. That is the dumbest freaking thing that I've ever heard. Everybody's so mad that we're bringing this guy in. Langdon, oh my gosh, he's an Arn Tellem guy, blah, blah, blah. But maybe he brings a Zion Williams who's going to sit on Williamson, who's going to sit on the bench. What the heck? What is wrong with this?
You want to talk?
What the heck?
Talk Arn Tellem, by the way. How about we talk about the fact that there's been a lot of mocks going around having the Pistons take I think it's Matis Buzelis. I think that's his name. Small forward from the G League Ignite. He's a 6'8", 209. Small forward. I'll give you one guess as to who his agent is.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
You're dead serious?
at number 5.
I quit.
I
I'm not
see.
watching another freaking Pistons game until we clean house. I can't take this. I was excited about the Monty thing. This is the dumbest organization right now in all of sports. I'm telling you, I'm not trying to do this for effect or be dramatic. This is the dumbest organization in all of sports. Gores, you are an idiot. What are you thinking, dude? Why? Why? Okay, I'm not excited about the draft right now anyway because there really isn't anybody super good. And I guess I'd probably rather take that guy than Bronny, which again, let's get Bronny James in here because that brings LeBron James. LeBron James is about 2 years away from retiring. Why do we want him on our team for that contract? That's stupid. I just this the Pistons organization, and I this is a Lions show. I don't mean to turn this into a Pistons thing, but this is big news, and this is annoying news, and it pisses me off. You guys want me to spend $20 a month on Bally Sports, and you give me the freaking Detroit Pistons, and you give me the Detroit Tigers? Get out of here with this. Gosh dang it, man. Oh.
Well, I'm not sure what to say about that.
It pisses me off, man.
This guy's breathing heavy over here right now. You might see some tears come out in a second. On the latest NBA mock draft posted by CBS, this is from Kyle Boone. Came out about a day ago.
Oh, but let's keep Troy Weaver. Hold on, let's keep Troy Weaver because we got Cade Cunningham.
Okay, I wasn't talking, but that's fine.
I'm just saying, like everybody wants to throw out, like everybody. I'm not good because everybody wants to say stuff like that. He was the number 1 overall pick. He was the consensus number 1 overall pick, and here we are. Oh my gosh, let's give him his flowers because he got no. Everybody was going to take him at 1. Whatever. Go ahead. Sorry. I'm sick of the Pistons organization, man. I am beside myself. I don't even want to sit here anymore.
On that mock draft I was referencing from CBS, they have the Pistons taking Dalton Connect at 5, the Tennessee shooting guard at 6'6", 213. I'd be very happy with that pick. I love watching Tennessee play just because of Dalton Connect. My opinion might have been one of, if not the best player in the nation last year.
Yeah, and that's a good floor spacer there, honestly, because he can shoot. He's 6'6".
And let's be honest, we're looking at.
Stop pulling me back in, man.
Well, let's be honest, we're looking at if we can get him. Let's be honest with what we have. We're looking at either Jaden Ivey falling out of a potential starting role and just being a role player, or him not being on the team at all. There's a lot of talk about us moving people off the team, and I don't think Cunningham will happen right now, but Jaden Ivey, Jalen Duren, those kind of guys are prime candidates for being moved just because they have not worked out.
I disagree with Jalen Duren. I think he's a heck of a basketball player, and I think he struggles on defense, like you and I talked. But I think he's a heck of a player. I think he'd be a good piece to build around.
But he's got potential. I don't think he's shown that he's a great player yet, though.
I don't know. All I'm going to say is I give Cade 1 more year, or Cade should give us 1 more year, and then he should get the heck out of Dodge. I love Cade Cunningham. I think he deserves better. I think everybody's saying that. He deserves better than this team.
Well, I'm not going to complain about it this year because of how weak this draft class is, but it would really help if the NBA would adjust their lottery settings and not have the Pistons picking 5th when they're the worst team in the NBA.
We've already talked about how stupid and broken that system is, too.
Yeah.
I'm sick of the Pistons,
we'll
man.
We'll just leave that where it is. We don't need to talk too much. We're actually nearing the end of our show here, so it's going to be a short one this week, guys. Apologize, there's just not much news happening, but we will hopefully have some more stuff for you guys next week.
Yeah, while we're here, Righteous Felon Jerky, they have been nice enough to give us an extra 5% off, so if you guys use that Lions Banter code at righteousfelon.com, you're going to get 20% off your entire order now through Father's Day, and so, get yourself, get your dad, get your husband or whatever, something nice, get them some jerky to go with it, and get 20% off. $50 or more gets you free shipping, so definitely check that out too. We're also going to be throwing out another giveaway next week when we have our special guests on. We're gonna they don't know this yet, but there will be a giveaway based on them, or at least one of them, and we're gonna surprise them with that. The cat's kind of out of the bag now, but we're gonna surprise them with it. So, uh, yeah, that's really most of the show. I mean, not a whole lot going on with the Lions, but we're gonna be here every week, and we're gonna make sure we get you some content and piss and moan about the Pistons a little bit.
Yeah, and we won't even talk about the Tigers because I don't want to talk about them right now. So
You want me to go through the roof?
no, that's where we'll leave off here. It's been a short one, but we're here for a good time, not a long time.
Yeah, great time.
So we'll leave it there.
300 subs, guys, get in there.
Yeah, make sure to get on YouTube and give us subs, and you'll be entered to win that Jameson Williams card, the rookie card that we just showed right there. And what's stopping you? Just subscribe, and you could win something. You don't even have to watch our videos if you don't want to. Just click the button.
You want to know something else, man? In the mail, I got an out of 10, a numbered out of 10, Jahmyr Gibbs rookie card coming. That might be in for a giveaway after we get rid of this one first.
I'm keeping that one.
I don't know about that.
I'm intercepting the mail.
Yeah, okay. All right.
That's it for us, guys. Enjoy your Memorial Day weekend, and we'll see you next week sometime.
One more thing, we gotta throw in Lakeshore Golden Cards. Yeah, Bill Walsh, Lakeshore Golden Cards, man. We definitely like doing business with him. He's got some really good memorabilia and stuff in there. He's out of Whitehall, Michigan, but he does ship stuff. If you look him up on Facebook, Lakeshore Golden Cards and Collectibles, he actually runs an auction every week, and he auctions off cards. Sometimes he has signed jerseys. There was actually a Colson Loveland one 2 weeks ago. There was a Nico Collins last week. I think he's got a couple of signed Michigan State mini helmets coming up. I think he's got all sorts of stuff going on. So check him out. Told him we'd give him some ups here, and yeah, make sure you guys get in there and just don't bid on anything that I'm bidding on because I will be really pissed. So.
Yep, I've said everything I need to say in the conclusion. I'm not going to give you another sign off. I've done like 3 of them before Zach interjects with something else. Shut up. We are leaving it at that. Enjoy your weekend. Go Lions.
Go Lions, baby.